If you're over 40 and training harder isn't producing the results it used to, this isn't a discipline problem. It's a recovery capacity problem. The high performers we coach all share the same profile: driven, successful, used to figuring it out with more effort. And somewhere around their mid 40s, sometimes earlier, the body stopped responding the way it always had. The instinct is always the same: train harder, eat cleaner, push more. And it makes the problem worse. I'm Rob Lagana. I coach adults over 40 on recovery first body recomposition, and this is what actually works when effort alone has stopped delivering. Let's start with what recovery capacity actually means, because it's not a hot tub and a whoop strap. Recovery capacity is the body's ability to absorb a training stimulus and translate it into adaptation. So after 40, three things change. Anabolic resistance increases. The same protein dose builds less muscle. Nervous system load accumulates faster. Work stress, life stress, training stress all draw from one bucket. And sleep architecture shifts. Deep sleep declines. Recovery hormones decline with it. What that means in practice is the same training program that built your body at 35 is now overdrawing the account. You're still training, the body is just no longer compensating. So how do you fix it? Well, you don't add more on top. You rebuild from the foundation up. Right? The PowerSkulpt method is built on a foundation-first hierarchy we call the pyramid. 7 layers, foundation to peak, and today I'm walking you through the bottom 4. Get these in place and everything above them starts working. Layer 1, recovery and nervous system. This is the foundation of the entire pyramid. Sleep architecture, autonomic balance, nervous system load. Until this layer is stable, nothing above it works the way it should. Most programs treat recovery as an afterthought, a stretch, a sauna, a rest day, but we treat it as the foundation, engineered, measured, prioritized. When recovery is solid, everything above it gets cheaper. When recovery is compromised, everything above it costs double. Layer 2, metabolic function. Once recovery is stable, the next layer is metabolic clarity. Insulin sensitivity, mitochondrial function, glucose handling, energy availability. This is where the body decides whether to partition nutrients toward muscle or fat. After 40, this layer is usually downregulated by years of stress, undereating, overtraining, or all three. You don't mix metabolic function by adding a fat burner. You fix it by giving the body enough fuel, enough recovery, enough nutrient density for the system to come back online. Layer 3, hormonal environment. This is where most over 40 conversations start. And it's the wrong starting point. Yes, testosterone declines. Yes, estrogen and progesterone shift. Yes, thyroid signaling can dampen. But hormones don't operate in isolation. If recovery is broken and metabolism is compromised, hormone optimization on top is rearranging deck chairs. When the bottom 2 layers are solid, the hormonal environment shifts and it starts correcting itself for a meaningful subset of people. For others, targeted clinical support is the right move, but it's a layer, not the foundation. Layer 4, muscle development. This is the layer everyone wants to start with, and it only works once the 3 layers below it are in place. Intelligent resistance training, Adequate protein, progressive overload calibrated to the current recovery envelope, not the recovery envelope you had at 30. This is the layer where the visible body finally responds. The arms fill out, the waist tightens, the composition shifts, but this layer is the consequence of the 3 below, not the cause. Now, does this actually work? So a few Sundays ago at the Toronto Pro Show, one of our long-term clients, a 5-year client of Robin's, made her IFBB Pro debut, Pro card earned, right? That outcome wasn't built by training harder. It was built by 5 years of this exact methodology, in this exact order. Recovery first, metabolic clarity second, hormonal environment third, muscle development fourth. Iterated and recalibrated as her biology evolved. It's not a marketing story. It's what foundation first coaching produces when you give it the time it actually needs. For most people, the timeline is much shorter than 5 years to see real recomposition. The first 30 days reset recovery. The next 8 to 12 weeks reset metabolic function. Hormonal correction happens in parallel. Muscle development is the consequence. And once the foundation holds, it builds steady and durably. If you're trying to figure out where your own 4 layers actually sit right now, which one's gating the rest, there's a free 3-minute body recomposition assessment on our site, and it scores all 6 pillars and flags the layer that's keeping your results. Link in the description. Most programs start with training. PowerSkulpt starts with recovery. Training creates the signal. Recovery creates the change. If you want the full breakdown, the methodology behind every layer, comment protocol, or head to the link in the description. Be smart out there.